from all around Geelong. I'm here to tell you how football is.
Good morning and welcome again to the GDFL Footy Show on our grand final show edition. And boy, are we excited. Big games on this afternoon. A lot of netball, a lot of junior footy, Colts, reserves, and the North Geelong Footy Club playing in the under-18s and the reserves. And then the big one this afternoon, of course, it's the Belpost Steel Panthers going for 3 in a row against the East Geelong Eagles. Will come all the way through from 5th position. Will be very exciting indeed. Hello, I'm Dick Philpott, and once again I have assembled some of the biggest names and brains in country football to eradicate, adjudicate, communicate, and definitely not procrastinate. Stop looking at me like that, Grubby. You'll get your chance in a minute. The smallest man ever to grace a football ground. And have a look at these jumpers, folks. I reckon this one's going to explode in a minute. But have a look at Dane Swan's little brother from the Collingwood Footy Club with his Port Melbourne / Belpost Steel jumper on. What have you got on, Grubby Cations, smallest man in football?
Mate, I wanted to look like Shawnee Lewis. He's one of my favourite players. I was going to come and look like Graham Lewis, but I didn't want to shave me bloody head.
And of course we don't swear at this time of the morning, folks, on Channel 44. We don't do that, do we? No, kiddies, we don't, do we? No. Uncle Albert says, you don't swear on footy, do you? And of course the other man who needs absolutely no introduction, he is the #1 commentator in country football, Geelong Footy Club legend. He is Eric Nicholls. G'day, mate.
Good morning, Dick, and at least I do the jumper justice.
No, I reckon you're still in your playing weight.
What have you done to yours?
You still, what weight did you play footy in?
A little lighter than I am now, I can assure you.
What, skinnier than what you are now?
Yeah, a little.
Yeah, I'm about a kilo over my playing days. I can tell you that. Probably put on a kilo or two, but it's unbelievable. But well, we had a big preliminary final last week, and the unthinkable happened. The Tommy Tigers probably favourites going into that game, and absolutely eclipsed by an East Geelong Footy Club that wanted desperately to make the grand final, Grubby.
That's the best I've seen them play, honestly. They just were terrific right from the first bounce. The old fella here tipped him. He thought they were a chance all the way. We didn't. We went for Thompson, and I think when we saw big Jeremy Babs run out, we thought, geez, they might be a bit underdone here, and I thought they could be in trouble, and they were in trouble right from the start. East Geelong, they got a few players who were just going through the year, and by crikey, did they play well in the finals, and that's when your coaches want them to play good football.
Eric, we've been saying all year that Lucas Forbes is probably the big key player, and Brett McLeod, of course, at Thompson. Where were they on Saturday?
Well, Lucas Forbes was there, but they couldn't get the ball to him, Dick. And
they only kicked 6 goals there, Eric.
Yeah, that's right. And you only play as well as the other team allows you. And when you got Lucas Murphy kicked 7 at the other end of the ground, he had plenty of ball, plenty of feed. And the last 2 weeks has been as good a football as East Geelong have played all this year by a long shot. Grand finals are a great day, and looking forward to today.
We said last week to Tommy Perrott, the East Geelong coach, when he was in here, that they must miss Adam Scrobble. Well, he won't be playing today, of course, because I've got his jumper on and there's nothing left of it after I explained in about 5 minutes. But the thing is, like, they didn't need him last week, did they? They just played a great brand of football.
Well, he's one of those blokes I was talking about, Benny Bolton. Benny Bolton's been I thought, just a good, solid, ordinary player for the year, and he's given us his best 3 performances in the 3 finals. And that's just fantastic. He's been terrific.
Unbelievable. Now, we've got the cup here, of course. We haven't got it on TV at the moment. There it is. This is the cup they're going to be playing for this afternoon. We'll talk a little bit about that later on the show, but the Blood Toyota Smiths Holden Cup. The Smiths Holden Cup.
Smiths Holden.
Get it right. See, I knew I was going to stuff something.
Blood Suzuki.
Yeah, whatever. That's the netball one, isn't it? Doesn't matter. But the Belpost Steel colours on one side, and of course the East Geelong colours on the other. And I'm hoping an ad break comes up very, very quickly. Say something, Grubby, for goodness sake.
No, I'm watching the sideshow here.
there's something just popped up here between me legs. And what's going on down here? There's something popped up between me legs, Grubby. Hello.
You know what? You deserve everything you get. You deserve everything you get.
Unbelievable. I haven't had that much movement down there for about 30 years. It's unbelievable. Oh, dear, oh dear. So, yeah, it's a great cup, and it'll be a great afternoon. And I know that we've got... Oh, jeez, I thought I'm having phantom ones now. I thought... Well, sorry, Mr. Producer.
Where's your microphone?
Oh, I've got no microphone. Keep talking.
Well, I tell you, who do you reckon will win anyway? This idiot's going to spoil the show. We've come here to do a proper show, and this idiot's just going to spoil the whole thing.
This could only happen on grand final day, Grubby, couldn't it?
Well, it can. I mean, we're all excited about having a great grand final, and this idiot's mucking around.
Yeah,
well, we're going to throw to an interview now with my new handheld mic, and it's with Lucas Murphy with Grubby Cations. Here they go.
Ball forward. Oh, almost a great Mark Murphy. Hooked it around the body. There it is. Goal number 100 for the season.
And with East Geelong superstar Lucas Murphy, after a magnificent football match, he's kicked 7 or 8 goals. I can't remember which. How many was it, mate?
7, I think, in the end, Grubby.
7 goals, 1 or 2. Little bit different from 3 goals, 8 against Werribee Centrals. And look, I know it's a team game, mate, but let's just focus just a little bit on the individual stuff. 100 goals again. Absolutely fantastic effort.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it, like, especially against Crow, the last game of the year. I think I was maybe been on 86, 87 goals, and it was the first thing from mine. I was just want to get in the final, so hasn't been any pressure to kick it this year, which has been great, and just to get it today has been a bonus. So yeah, it's just obviously won the game. That's the main thing, but to get that as well, I guess when I'm an old bloke and retire, which won't be far away, I'll be happy to look back and see that I did that.
Especially when you don't have to carry a 98 or a 99 into next week. But look, I thought young Atkinson pretty much matched you in the air. Your second effort's killed him. Have you been doing that all year?
Probably not really back myself in the air, and he did beat me with judgment and stuff like that. So I just thought keep that work rate, and if it does hit the ground, make sure you're there to provide a contest. And lucky enough, a few spilled over, and I got those easy goals. So yeah.
Last week you came up the ground a little bit. Bowman went forward. He kicked 7. You still kicked a few. You give him a couple. Today you changed it back again. Do you think that probably stooged Thompson a little bit?
Maybe. It's just, I guess, with Bowie there now, the pressure feels like it's off me a lot too. Like, he's just been such a target for us all year. And just, I guess who's having the best position now, we try and block for each other and look after each other. And depending on who kicks it to who, I mean, vice versa, he'll kick some goals some week and hopefully I'll kick others, as long as we're both doing our job and helping each other out.
And after about 55 possessions, even Ricky O'Toole went down forward and tried to sneak a few goals off his.
I'll tell you what, he's turned back the clock, Ricky. This final series has been outstanding. I just hope he can, just do it. It'll be great for him next week, obviously. One more to go, and if he can play with this sort of form, it gives us great confidence for next week.
Well, going back there, Andrew Chalice or even yourself might have stole the 3 votes off him, but I don't think that'll worry him if he gets a premiership.
Yeah, that'd be the furthest thing from Rick's mind, and he's fantastic. I mean, it's not only the way he plays and sets the example, but just the way he teaches the young guys, especially where to run and what to do, and just that experience he's had over the years. Blokes really look up to him, obviously, from what he's done, and it's just a privilege to have him in the side.
Few doubters about Tommy Perrott early in the season. He's fixed a few of those mongrels up, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. He's really, look, the pressure was on Tommy early. Obviously, with Scrobber being an outstanding coach, it's always going to be hard for the next person to come in line. To Tip's credit, he's really come in there and put his own stamp on the way he wants to coach. The other great thing is, too, we had a lot of pressure, a lot of injuries early on in the year. I think we had 3 guys go down with knee recos, probably in about round 5 or 6, and our depth was really tested with those guys out. He kept recruiting, kept working at that side of things in our game, and looks as though now we're starting to gel at the right time of the year, and hopefully we can go one more.
Look, good on you, mate. Look, you were fantastic, but more importantly, East Geelong were fantastic today. All the best for the next Saturday, and I hope you do really well, mate.
Thanks a lot, Grubby. Appreciate it.
Another great interview by Grubby Cations there with Lucas Murphy, and he'll have a big action on this afternoon. We're going to take a break, pay some bills, and be right back after this with the Under-18 segment with Mitch Cleary. Back after this.
We are the Raiders from all around Geelong. I'm here to tell you how football is strong.
And welcome back, and hopefully we've got a bit of sanity back on the show again this morning, folks, and no more interruptions. We never know what's going to go on. It is our last show. We're having a bit of fun. We're going to throw to the Colts segment now with Mitch Cleary, because we've got the big under-18s game about right now out at St Albans Park with the North Geelong Magpies taking on Inverleigh Hawks. Here's Mitch.
Thanks, Dick. Well, it's time for my final Colts segment for the year, and what a year it's been. We'll start off with Division 4 this morning and a recap of last week's grand final between Port Arlington and Grovedale Tigers, second side. And it was Port Arlington winning by 2 points in a thrilling grand final at Queen's Park up there. Dylan George bagging 6 goals for the Demons as they held on by the skin of their teeth. George and a few of his teammates pushed their claims for senior games next year and could get a few games with the seniors struggling a bit in 2012. Moving across to Division 3, and it's a massive grand final today between 2 GDFL clubs, Inverleigh and North Geelong, kicking off at 9:30 at St Albans Reserve. Inverleigh had the week off, and North Geelong beat Belmont last week to earn their berth in the grand final. The GDFL hierarchy will be stoked with how this has worked out. A GDFL grand final on GDFL's biggest day of the year. The sides met twice this year, including the second semi-final 2 weeks ago, with Inverleigh getting the chocolates, but you can't discount North Geelong's ability to do it on the big stage on this day, having won the past 3 grand finals on GDFL grand final day. Magpie Taylor Gaspar is one to watch today, leading the competition with 58 goals this year. In Division 2 sees a grand final also being played this morning between two GFL clubs, Geelong West St Peters and Bell Park, at 9:15 at Drysdale Recreation Reserve. The Roosters had Bell Park's measure a fortnight ago, but the Dragons have the momentum after beating Grubby's Werribee Centrals last week. It's all set for Ripper this morning, and Geelong West St Peters will be refreshed after the week off. And in Division 1, the preliminary final between Colac and St Joseph's will determine who will play My St Mary's next week in the Division 1 grand final. That game kicks off at 9:45 at Simmons Stadium this morning. St Mary's earned a place last week in the big dance, and these two sides have been evenly matched all year, Colac and St Joseph's winning one apiece. Funnily enough, they met in the grand final last year, and if St Joseph's were able to win, it would be the second year in a row they have come from the elimination final to make the best under-18 grand final in the region. And a quick plug for our summer sports show kicking off on October 5 at 7 p.m. with the news show for every half hour over summer at 6:30. That's all from me, Dick. It's been a great year. It's back to you and the boys.
Thanks, Mitch, and of course a great effort by Mitch throughout the season, reporting everything that's Colts footy to us here on the Footy Show. Have a great Christmas break, Mitch, and we'll see you again next year. We've got a very special guest on the show this morning, and it wouldn't be the grand final show without the president of the Geelong and District Footy League, long-serving president, Neville Whitley, OAM. Good morning, Neville.
Good morning, Dick.
And a very exciting day, mate. It's always a big day, grand final day, and I went out in the preliminary final last week, and the facilities out at St Albans Footy Ground are absolutely sensational at the moment, aren't they?
Yes, they are. The council and the government have spent a lot of money there, along with the club, and it's a great facility for our grand final, set up with the netball down the bottom corner and able to get cars in around the ground. It's really country atmosphere, and we really enjoy playing our football there in a grand final. Really excited about grand final day. It's really great.
Nev, on the playing side, it's been a fantastic year, perhaps apart from a couple of clubs who've had fairly ordinary years, but the competition generally, I reckon the standard of football is as good as I've seen for a long time.
Yes, I think we're recruiting a lot of better players into our league. There's a lot of pressure put on by the GFL clubs to train a lot more, and our clubs don't put that pressure on them, and so they're coming back and enjoying their football in our competition. And we're there at a level to cater for those sort of players, and you know, when you get the blokes like Forbes and you know, Murphy's been mentioned earlier this morning, those sort of players that come into our league, and there's big rumour next year that Lee Hardy might be going back to Bannockburn. So, you know, and we've had Brent Grigg, ex-AFL players, so that really enhances our standard of footy.
Our team of the year, the inception this year of all club coaches being involved in the selection. I think when you look at the team overall, probably the best players in the league certainly have been there. Each coach wasn't allowed to pick a player from his own team. Is that the way it went?
No, that's right. It's been like that for the last 2 or 3 years, but some coaches have been a bit hesitant in putting their teams. So, but this year there was a lot more guys did put in their what they thought would make up the team, and we've got a very good side. And wish we could take that away at Interleague, and we've got some rules in place that's the nucleus of our Interleague side for the coming year, similar to what we do with netball. And anybody that doesn't play will probably cop a week's suspension.
They've got the big brunch on later on this morning, and that gets off at about 11 o'clock, is that right?
11 o'clock, yes.
11 o'clock, with some great people always turn up there. Who's your special guest there this year?
We've got Mark Yates, ex-AFL, VFL player, as our guest speaker. And I don't know whether John Howard or Jack Elliott's coming along, but we're trying to get hold of him.
A couple of surprise inclusions might be there as well, but Mark Yates, of course, the very infamous grand final of 1989 with him and Dermot Brereton, and I'm sure there'll be some fantastic stories told there this morning. Yeah,
Mark's an interesting guy. He played at the highest level, and he was the first coach of East Geelong ladies team, actually, when they had a ladies side playing out of East Geelong. So it'd be interesting to see how he handled that sort of situation.
I wouldn't have used the word handled, never, but that's okay, but I'm sure he did a good job with the ladies anyway.
Interesting to note, Dick, Mark Yates and I are both on the board of the Geelong Past Players, so he's got a bit of class, I can assure you.
A little bit of youth and a little bit of age, I reckon. Like I say that in the
absolutely,
nicest possible way.
It's experience, it's called, Dick.
Experience, is that what it is, Neville?
Yes, that's right.
That's very good. Now, I must admit, we'll bring up the netball medal, which was last Sunday at Buckley's, and a magnificent occasion it was too, great attendance. It was certainly tainted with the fact that it was great that it was named after Margaret, and great that the great representation was there, but gee, it was noticeable her absence, wasn't it?
Oh yes, over the final series we've missed her immensely, because you know, she's always there to look after people and grizzle at the security guards and the gatekeepers. But those guys have probably been let off the hook a little bit this year with Margaret not being there. So we do miss her, but that's life and that's the way, and things go on. And she'd be one of the people that would just say, "Look, get on with the show and let's enjoy ourselves."
Exactly, and it was great to see Megan there presenting the medal on her mother's behalf, and it was a very emotional time of the day, I thought. Neville, we're not going to let you go without giving us a little bit of a tip from the footy today. We'll start off with the under-18s. North Geelong Magpies taking on Inverleigh. Who do you reckon is going to win?
Well, I think Inverleigh have been on top of the ladder all year. And North Geelong have done very well, but and with a couple of their senior players coming back. But I just think Inverleigh seem to have the goods and been able to get over the top of the better sides throughout the year.
Big game in the reserves. Belpost still taking on North Geelong. Two sides. Belpost still in the finals this year. North Geelong did everything right all year, but Belpost still won their way to the grand final first. Any chance North Geelong there?
I think North Geelong will win that.
Oh, thank God for that. And in the big one, mate, the big one. Now, you're allowed to be, I know you're supposed to be unbiased as the president. Who's going to win the big one out of Belpost still in East Geelong? And I know you're an East Geelong man. You played there, your first game was in 1923 before you married your first wife. You've had about 8 since. But who do you reckon's going to win, mate?
Just after Eric played, actually.
After Eric played.
Look, my heart says East Geelong, but Belpost still had the easy run into the finals, and they're going to be very hard to beat. We just hope for a very close game. And probably, as I said, my heart says East Geelong over the line, but I think Belpost still may get it.
Thanks very much, mate. Neville, have a great afternoon, and congratulations on what's been a fantastic season again for the Geelong District Footy League. Good luck this afternoon. Hope you have a great day. Neville Whitley, the president of the Geelong District Footy League, our special guest this morning, and we'll be right back after this and talk about all the action on at St Albans Ground this afternoon. Back after this.
The Raiders from all around Geelong, tell you how football is strong.
And welcome back. And before we went on that last break, we intimated the fact there's a big game on this afternoon out at the St Albans Reserve, and it is the grand final of 2012. Belpost Hill, they've been on top all year, the Panthers. They're going for 3 in a row. And East Geelong have done the unbelievable. They've come from 5th position and made their way to another grand final. It'll be an absolute beauty. I'm going to start with you, Eric. Talk about, can Belpost still win their 3rd in a row, or can East Geelong win it from 5th position?
That's the $1 million question at the moment, Dick. But I'm going to try and put a case for East Geelong to win, because I reckon, having only won 12 games through the year, Belpost Hill won 17. The odds are certainly in favour of Belpost Hill. But the last 2 weeks, East Geelong have played fantastic football, and they've had a great lead into today's game. And Belpost Hill, since the 18th of August, have played 1 game. And I just think that hard match conditioning might just be what East Geelong need today. And I'm going to tip them. And when Grubby's put Belpost Hill case, we'll start to look at some of the matchups.
Righto, Grubby, it's your turn, mate. You have a crack back at him. Go on.
Right, well,
what happened to your tats?
Oh, they washed off. I went and had a shower and they washed off. No, I had to take them off because my dad might have a heart attack. He thinks I got their real. But now, honestly, before I talk about Belpost, I want to have a quick chat about Thompson. It's a dead set shame the way they played all year. They were on top of the ladder for a long, long time. They probably only lost 1 or 2 games and had a draw. And then I think just near the end they lost 3 big men. And they just couldn't pull them back, could they? They just couldn't cover them. I know Johnny Mitchell went in a little bit injured. And the injuries, and I'm not taking anything away from East, by the way, but I thought Thompson would be in the grand final all year. And I think injuries probably cruelled them in the finish.
Oh, I'd have to agree with you, Grubby. And it was unfortunate because the 2 top sides of the year are not going to be there today. One of them certainly is. But it was a pity. Thompson, sensational for the first 15 or 16 weeks. And unfortunately, 3 serious injuries probably cut them down.
Well, you've probably just put my case for me too, because yep, one of them is there, the top sides, and that's Belpost Hill today. And not only the top side for this year, they've been the top side for 3 years. They've been in the grand final 5 years in a row. They're a class above most of these sides, and East Geelong are going to have to really pull something. Mind you, they can do it. If they play as well as they've played for the last couple of weeks, they can really trouble them. Not quite sure if they can trouble them for 4 quarters and get over the line.
Guys, can I just say this too, and just not wanting to interrupt too quickly, but East Geelong, the last time they won a flag, a lot of tragic circumstance surrounded that, and it was their first flag for many, many years, and they weren't really able to celebrate it like they should have because of the tragic circumstance of what happened out there. We won't go into that, but if they can win this, they're well overdue to really have a good time, aren't they, and celebrate.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, and you wish them well if they can do it too. But the main thing about that is that they've got to win it.
They've got to win it.
Let's look at some matchups, Grubby. I reckon Symes, since interleague, probably the best ruckman in the league at that start. I reckon he's gone off the boil. Bolton the last 3 weeks has played magnificent football for East in the ruck. I reckon he mightn't be as mobile as Symes, but centre bounces, what have you, I think there'll be some good competition there.
Well, if you had said that to me 3 weeks ago, I would have laughed at you. I would have said, Jaden Symes will play him off the park. But after these last 3 weeks, we've got a contest there because he's played the best football he's played all year, young Benny Bolton. He's been terrific.
Lucas Murphy, we've all forgotten, I guess, that Forbes kicked 100 around about round 16. Lucas Murphy got 7 last week. When he kicked his 6th, that was 100th for the year. Who are they going to put on him? And just at the other end of the ground, I think East can cover Tar with Vetter.
Well, Vetter will play on Tar. I don't think there's any doubt about that. He'll play on Tar. He's big, he's strong, and so is Tar, obviously. So he'll play on Lucas Murphy. I'm not quite so sure. Lucas Murphy's a funny sort of a play. If he gets a big bloke, he'll go up the ground and run him around centre half forward. If he gets a bloke who's going to run with him, he'll out-muscle him in the goal square. And him and Benny Bowman, they work beautifully in the finals. Bowman kicked 7, although Murphy gave him a couple because he went up the ground. And then when Thompson thought they were going to do that, he went down and kicked 7, kicked his 100th goal. He's a magnificent player.
Things impressed me with East in the last couple of weeks. Ververs, Chellis, Robertson, they're running hard from half-back, midfield, and they're breaking the lines. Now, what have Belpost Hill got to stop that?
I think they'll stop that by their little keepings off game. If East Geelong can get their game going and their run going, what Belpost Hill will do is grab the ball, keep possession, a little bit like schoolyard keepings off, and just keep it off them for a while until they get a bit tired, and then they'll do what they've got to do. But what you've got to do to beat Belpost Hill, you've got to make them go into their forward line when they're not ready, because they only go in when they reckon they can score. So you've got to force them in, and the only way to do that is to be in front of them.
If I had to put the case for East Geelong, they've probably got the man of the finals playing in the middle of the ground. Ricky O'Toole, as he gets older, I think he gets better. What are Belpost Hill going to do for him?
They have to have a plan. I reckon Belpost Hill wouldn't have bothered having a plan for Ricky O'Toole at all until these last 3 weeks. They better have one now. They better have one now. Now, you were commentating on Saturday for the 94.7 The Pulse.
Today?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Well, I won't be there.
What have you done?
I'm going to the netball.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah, Werribee Samples were in the netball, mate.
God.
Werribee Samples look at this. I'm going to the netball.
Wow. I've seen it all, Dick. I've seen it all.
How do they play these things?
Oh, how do they play in these things? I got no idea.
Oh, dear.
Unbelievable. Oh, something's going on here again. Oh, look out. Look out. Look out. Unbelievable. A bit down a bit further. There you go. Well, okay. Hey, look out. This is breakfast television. Be careful. I don't believe what's going on here.
Oh.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do now. I've got to tell one more gag for the year. You did go to the doctors this week, didn't you?
Oh, not another strawberry.
It's going to be hard, this.
Not another strawberry and cream.
And you went to the doctors and you said, Doctor, I think I'm a bridge. And you know what the doctor said to you? Goodness gracious, Grubby, what's come over you? And you said a truck, a bus, an ambulance, 3 cars.
Actually, that's a little bit better.
Funny gags, that's
a little bit better, that one.
Everywhere.
Probably saved the best for last, did he?
So who do you reckon's going to win, Eric, quickly?
I'm going for East Geelong.
East Geelong, Grubby.
I'll stick with Belpost Hill. I'll go for Inverleigh, and I'll also go for Belpost Hill in the twos.
I'm totally confused. We're going to get everyone back on the set. We're going to say our goodbyes in about 5 seconds. What's this?
Bye. Thanks for watching.
Go Eagles.
Go North.
Close your eyes and I'll kiss you tomorrow. I'll kiss you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Thanks, guys.
We are the Raiders from all around Geelong. I'm here to tell you how football is strong.